Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Bruce.
And I'm Pete. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. This is our Commander Focus podcast, and we are focusing on cards we think are garbage or great. So, Bruce?
Indeed, yes. So we're trying to streamline our card evaluation process here, folks. As you know, if you've been with us the last couple of weeks, we've gone and looking at we're looking at a creature, we're looking at an instant or sorcery, and then we're looking at a non-creature card.
Yeah, so lands, planeswalkers,
enchantments, that sort of stuff. Yeah,
all that good stuff. So yeah, if anyone wants to submit some names and ideas they'd like to put in there, trash meme, trash, anything related to trash would be a perfect headings for these topics.
Or you could send us a meme of a dumpster fire floating down the river with your favorite card to it.
That would be sick, get some sleeves with some dumpsters on the sleeves and some flames coming out of them. Oh my
goodness, so good.
We're gonna get there at some point. So anyway, Bruce, we're doing we're doing a bunch of cards that have made us quite sad in the past, or they are just disappointing. It's basically like dancing with yourself at prom. These are cards that just make you real depressed inside. It's like any sort of song from the mid 2000s, any of those radio replayed songs that brought a tear to our eyes. You know what I'm saying? So any James Blunt. And any of that beautifully sad stuff. So Bruce, what do you got for us? Because this one is tragic.
This one makes me so sad because I should love this card, and I've tried it so many times, Pete, and it sucks so much. It's Runic Armasaur, and I should love this card. Everything about this card should be something I love.
What does this card do?
So it is 1 green for a 2/5 dinosaur. And then whenever an opponent activates an ability of a creature or land that isn't a mana ability, you may draw a card. So that's got the best 3 words in Magic on it, Pete. Draw a card.
Right.
But yet I'm always so sad. So Pete, how does this not make me sad? Because like a little story here. Like I love to play green. Right, and it's well documented. Like if you look at all my decks on Mock Shield, I love green, and this card should play really, really well. It's 3 mana, so it's efficiently costed. It's got a huge butt, so it makes it good to block and tussle with. It's got draw a card on it, and you'd think activated abilities should be something that is reasonably. It occurs with some degree of regularity to the point where I should be able to at least get 2-3 cards a game whenever I resolve this. And yet, I think in all the times I've ever resolved it, I've only ever drawn 1 card.
This card is like sideboard spice limbo. Like, it's the fact that a lot of the ability that the first clause for drawing a card, like, it's very niche compared to like what you're playing against. If someone's an aristocrat deck, then you might draw a few cards, but even then, that creature probably won't survive if it's an aristocrat deck. If they're activating abilities, I feel like the game is pivoted out of that sort of focusing on creature abilities and more about just straight up efficiency written on the card. Not many people I know are playing Spectral Sailor anymore, It's something that they might play in a specific type of deck, but it's not as punishing as it used to be. If it said something like activate an artifact or something, then you could draw more cards with it for sure nowadays. You don't even get this off of like any of the permanents that are more common now, right? Like treasures or foods or anything of that nature. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's like a bygone era card. It's like a card you saw 10 years ago that did work because people were playing more activated abilities and general off creatures that did things like the Necropolis Demon that would like pay X and tap it and exile a card from your yard and -X to a thing or something like that.
And like I know for a fact it gets played. Like I can look at the rec, I can look at EDH rec, and I can see that it's being played in 50,000 decks. Like it's in so many decks, and I mean some of those are the dinosaur like typal decks where people are like playing it because it's a dinosaur. But like you'd think this card is not a bad card, but yet I am consistently disappointed whenever I cast it and I go, well, that feels like not a good card in this list right now. I'm so disappointed in it.
I kind of want to try it in the one Tarkir precon, like, and just see if the card can do something because it'll be a 5/5.
Is that the Abzan Big Booty Brigade?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might be cool because
Abzan
it's a 3-mana 5/5 at that point. That's pretty spicy.
like-
and then you could sacrifice it for value later. That might be a way to make it unsad, like
yeah,
make it a little bit more interesting. But even as a dinosaur, it's just mid. Like its stats are bad for being a dinosaur in my eyes.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, but
I think,
like everything about this card says like once upon a time, this would have been like super duper good, and I would have just been dying to play this in my deck. And now I'm dying to take it out of every deck that has it in it because I think it's so unfortunate. So it makes me so sad. And I want like players, if you're out there and this is sitting in your deck, you better have a darn good reason for having this in your list because I think this thing is just you can do so much better for this. Like even for 3 mana, there's so many better cards. I'd play a Tireless Provisioner every day ahead of this card. Every single day.
Yeah, I mean, it's not completely even worth its price tag too. Like, I don't know.
No, it's everything about it just makes me sad. But everything about that text on that card says it should be good, and it's not. So, here's my lamentation about Runic Armasaur. Thou art so dreadful. I will remove you from every deck I own.
So it's on your ban list.
It is. It's on Bruce's personal ban list of trash cards to take out. What have you got tonight?
This next card, it features a mechanic that I absolutely hate. So here we go. Evercoat Ursine. It's 4 colorless and a green. It's an elemental bear. All right, that's like where it stops. That's where it stops as positivity. It has trample, hideaway 3, hideaway 3. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, if there are cards exiled with it, you may play one of them without paying its mana cost. Bruce, what do you think about this Timmy Bear?
Again, everything about this card should be something I like. So 5 mana 6/5 is like pretty decent baseline stats. Trample, I like the bear creature type on this because like it goes with like you want to play it in like Bear Force 1, you can like do that, or if you want to do it with like Surrak and like do things like that. And like double hideaway, like that's actually pretty cool. Like look at 3 cards, tuck one away. Twice. So it should be something that I want to play. So, but I'm guessing that nobody's letting you deal combat damage with it so that they're removing it before you ever do. So this is really like 3 for winning yourself and you just feel infinite sadness.
Yeah, this card, like, okay, the reason I hate hideaway so much as a mechanic is because it's super conditional, and at least with a land, there's a lower percentage chance that the land will get blown up. Usually I whiff on the hideaway, though, most of the time.
Right, fair.
Because of the fact that it's commander, there's just too many variables of like a card that actually is worth the cost of the hideaway. Like if I'm looking at 3 cards and I get like a 2-drop or a 1-drop, it's like then what did I even do? I just basically exiled 3 cards or exiled 1 card off the top and then put away 2 cards that might have actually been useful in the situation that I needed to be in. And lands.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get lands under here, it's like what the heck? Like you can't even play the card. Like even if it said play the card, it would be good. Or if it said like
Oh, I missed that with the wording on this card. So You just you may
You
may
can play
play
one
one,
of them.
play one of them.
I guess you can play a land for or for dealing a damage or two in combat, but like it's just too slow. And I just never liked Hideaway as a mechanic. It never works out for me. It's like pulling teeth with its actual applicability. I'd rather have it say Scry 2 twice or something, or even Surveil 2 once. Like
Yeah,
Surveil 1 and
that
Surveil
that
1 would be better.
that would be significantly. I'd agree with you. If it were Surveil 1, I'd probably play this. It would be an uncommon though. It wouldn't be this
Right.
rarity. And this is from Bloomberg Commander, huh? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, again, this one looks like Runic Armasaur in that it looks like it should be good because it's got
So,
the keyword there to help it get the damage through. It's got trample. But I think you're absolutely right. Like this one falls flat because if you hide away 3 and you tuck 2 cards underneath it, and then your opponent just removes it, it doesn't even have to like be a targeted spell. Just a board wipe sweeps it up, and now you're like you 3-for-1 yourself. And
this is like impossible meat. Like you got to dress it up a lot for it to actually taste good and let you stomach it. Like it's
so
just a fake,
it's
it's a fake product that's supposed to replace something legit.
so I need to put some MSG on this in order to make this good.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Huh. Well, that's that.
All right.
Hard pass. Hard
next
pass.
card. The next card is epitome of my life. Okay, it's called Oversimplify. It's called Oversimplify. Okay, 3 colorless, a green and a blue. Sorcery. Exile all creatures. Each player creates a 0/0 green and blue fractal and puts a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the total power of creatures they controlled that were exiled this way. Bruce, what do you think about this?
I mean, I remember when this was printed in the Strixhaven precons, and because this was from the 10 is your Quandrix,
right,
or like the whatever, like Adrix and Nev, and I'm like, this card should be good because like it's like Curse of the Swine. So Curse of the Swine is a removal spell that still sees play in Commander, that exiles things and leaves behind 2/2s. And this is similar in the sense that but you're exiling all creatures, so you're whacking everything. And like then presumably since you're playing Simic, you're barfing out some amount of stupidity before you get there, but your opponent's got a indestructible angel or some monstrous Eldrazi that just don't die. So you exile the board and you get to rebuild your board, hopefully with something swole. Now, I mean, so how does this fall flat? Like, where does this go that a Simic deck can't capitalize on this?
The issue that I have with this card is and maybe this is obviously my bias here. It's kind of like the epitome of that Strixhaven set. It was like a set of cards of color combinations that weren't really doing what the color combinations were meant to do. In a way, like they kind of forced different things and it made it so like all the cards sort of didn't have a true identity. So it's like Simic's meant to poop out creatures and lands and create extra value. This should have been like a white and black card. Or just a mono white card. In my eyes,
So,
it just doesn't make sense, like logically to me. In the way the colors are supposed to like work together, this doesn't make sense to me at all. As a card,
to me, this should be mono blue, not green blue, because this effect is a blue thing. Like this is the
reality shift. Yeah,
this is the reality shift. This is the Curse of the Swine. This is the Pongify, where they kill your thing and leave you behind something that's significantly less good. And so, like, I should like this card. I'm like you, but I mean, I also agree with you. I don't like this card, and I don't run it in anything, and I don't want to. Like any Simic nonsense pile I build does not want this card, and I would take my chances with a mass bounce effect or something more targeted because this is just. And I don't know why I feel that way about it, but I look at this card on the listing. I'm like, No, I'm not. I'm not putting that in my deck. Like I've got a Slogurk deck that would, should like this card, and I'm never putting this in Slogurk
It
ever
just
in a
it
million.
feels like you're 2 for 1ing yourself, right? Because
Yeah,
ideally, in that color combination, you're trying to create more value than your opponents, and making one big fat fractal, in my eyes, doesn't really equate to anything. I guess maybe you use greater good to that abusive effect, but I just don't see it. Like it's like a
yeah.
card, it's just a card that doesn't it breaks the color pie in a bad way. It's uncreative, and the card just doesn't like really do anything at the end of the day. I'm not trying to like be really harsh, but I'm gonna just say like,
No, you can. I think this
what
is
are we
us
doing here?
being. This is us dumping on some stuff today because we've tried them and we found them. We found
Right.
they're not good. So I don't think it's fair because I think there's lots of people out there that would look at oversimplify and say this should be a card is good, and then our anecdotal evidence suggests otherwise. That we're playing it, and like I looked at this, I remember looking at it for a list. I had it in the pile of cards, and I just cut it, and I don't regret it. I have never gone back and said, you know what my deck needs tonight? It needs an oversimplify. That has never been something I have ever said, and that tells me all I need to know about this.
So strange. It's just strange. Like I'm looking on EDH Rack, and all of the commanders are just like Simic value
Yeah,
pile commanders. It makes no sense. So before I like
yeah.
blow a blood vessel in my head, let's move on to the next card. What do you
All
got
right.
for us?
So I've got one that's from a cycle that's old. Like this is from Dragon's Maze, which was like notorious for having some of the just most atrocious cards ever.
I remember
And
drafting this set and I was laughing because I played like Golgari, like, and I had that regenerate defender, that 1/4 that you could regenerate,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like the best creature because all the creatures were 2/2 flyers. So
Yeah.
anyway.
And so this is a cycle of the cycle of fuse cards that were in that set. And for this one, I've picked Turn and Burn as my example for this. But essentially they're split cards. And today, when we get split cards, it means you usually can cast one half or the other. Sometimes you get both effects, like on an adventure or on a card with aftermath, where after you've cast the original copy, it goes to your graveyard. But these you had to pay. You could pay the full mana value of both halves of the card, and you could get both effects that turn. So Turn and Burn is on one half, 2 in a blue. It's the turn half. It's an instant. Target creature loses all abilities and becomes a 0/1 red weird until end of turn. And then for 1 in a red, you get an instant on the other half that says Burn. Burn deals 2 damage to target creature or player. And clearly, the plan was that you would be able to use this as a combat trick to maybe turn something large into something small, and then nuke a mana dork or something else at the table to 2-for-1 your opponent. Now, and they look tempting because I can sort of see that play pattern in my brain. Like, oh, my opponent's attacking with a thing, and I'm going to like shrink it and block it with this thing, and I'm going to zap that mana dork over there, or zap that bird, or whatever. Except in reality, I never want to cast either half of this card. I don't want to put it in my deck because it's always so low impact. It is like there's something to be said for having a reactionary card. But then when you put this in it, it's so reactionary. You're like, I need to have this set up in such a way that I get good value out of my card, or it's a wasted card slot. But then I'm holding up 5 mana, waiting on my opponent, and then maybe never even firing it off. So I just find myself really wanting, and this is sort of my effect with the whole series of cards in this set. Like all the cards that were fuse cards from Dragon's Maze were pretty poor, with one exception that I will grant is the Boros one, Wear and Tear. It is actually a good card.
That's played in everything. That's played in CDH too.
Yeah.
But my idea with these cards are collecting evidence. because it's easy to just
Oh.
exile this from the yard, and then
Hmm.
you get to collect evidence. So, like a
Huh.
Zoni, like you could use a Zoni and collect evidence with that. Or there's the Simic card that does it, where you collect evidence. I think you get to like make a clue or something. Again, that's just like a reach, but it would be fun to see you're playing these cards because you're trying to play like, maybe your second spell each turn because there's that commander from the precon now that does a lot of that. It's really, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I was playtesting that recently on Moxfield, and it's really, really fun to try to spell sling in that regard. Um, but yeah, I can see it. It's slow. It's not exactly that amazing, although I've used the Abzan one pretty successfully. I know you said you haven't, but
Yeah, I had this in Dagatar and have found I just took it out because it just didn't do enough. I was really so ready and willing. I was mostly playing it for the ready half. It says creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn, untap each creature you control. I was really looking to play it for that, but I didn't find that made sense.
sure.
And then I tried the other half and the gaining lifelink and death touch, and again that wasn't useful. So I took it out too. And then like without fail, like I mean I've seen people cast far and away and like to great effect on me. I've seen give and take be a problem in a +1/+1 counter deck where they drew a dump load of cards, but by and large, every time I try to make use of these cards, they're just nope, these are no good. You just spent a lot of mana and didn't do anything useful. You're a dummy. You should stop. That's all I hear in my head when I cast these spells. You're a donkey. You should not play this card.
I like I actually like catch and release. I think that's neat because you could take someone's permanent that's problematic and then sacrifice it.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
also 9 mana. Like that's massive.
it's true. I mean, I don't
Like
know.
a low
It's
taper fade. I mean, oh, sorry. Uh,
yeah. I
you,
mean, I don't know. The Doctor Who
I
one's
tried
fun.
beck and call. I've tried breaking and entering. I tried far and away, armed and
Give
dangerous. Like
give
I've
and take
tried lots of
seems
these.
pretty decent. Give and take seems pretty decent too. So
Yeah, like
I don't know. But if you're forcing that, you're forcing it. So I get it. Like
yeah.
there's probably better cards that can draw you cards anyway. But
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know.
it's all good.
I try them.
No
I've
worries.
tried many of them, and I have found myself saying these are not good. I should not play these. I need to try something different.
All right. And then what else you got? Because I know you wanted to bash and badger another set of cards that exists.
Yeah, sure do. Everything that says the word curse on it. Every card that says I'm a curse. Because you know what every card that says I'm a curse also says? I'm a bad card. So like
Wow.
no, so here's the dilemma you run into, folks. You end up in a situation where the curses are you attach a curse to an individualized player. With almost with essentially no exception. And consequently, because you're targeting a single opponent, the other two players get off scot-free. They get away and they don't have to have any of the consequences or burden of running around the game with the curse. Now, also I find many of the curses have a rather minor effect, if anything, to the point where it's like, really? Like this is what we're doing? This is not good. And like I've tried things like the Curse of Opulence, which seem like it's among the better ones, and I still go, I don't like this card. Like I don't. It's not. It doesn't help the game be more fun. It doesn't accelerate anybody playing to get dead, even though you think it should. Like everyone's sort of like, well, tiptoes. It's not enough incentive. So no, I don't like any of these cards. I think that they are a trap. That players playing them should stop. That the Grixis colored Curse Commander Lindy from one of the visits to Innistrad should be essentially the lowest played commander ever because I think it's atrocious. And so
Whoa, okay.
I am
So
bringing the full bear, the full like all guns to bear on this stuff. These things are bad cards, and I'm somewhere out there. There's somebody who's saying no, they're great. No, they're not. Like I've even tried. Get this. I've tried Cruel Reality, which is the one from Emenket. So which is 5 black for a curse. It says enchant player. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. If the player can't, he or she loses 5 life. That sounds like it should be brutal, doesn't it? That sounds awful.
sure.
But you know what they do? They sack a token or they sack the mana dork, and they just laugh at it. They're like, whatever, I don't care. Because it's 7 mana and they've built up a board state, and you're like, your 7 mana play was to do that? Your opponent, the other 2 opponents are laughing all the way to Value Town because they're not being harassed by this. The guy who is goes, oh, okay, I'll sack my token or I'll sack my mana dork, and then I will, use this spell here and bring 3 things back. Like, it's not an effective tool to get anybody killed. So, yeah, not a fan. I find the curses very frustrating. Make me very sad whenever I see them in precons or, pull open a box of stuff trying to build a deck, and it looks like it should be a good card. Like, Curse of the Bloody Tome looks like it should be good, and it's not.
I remember someone cast Overwhelming Splendor against me, and I just killed them on that turn. So I understand your pain with thinking about these curses.
Exactly.
But, the only ones that I've ever used really is Fraying Sandy on myself to mill myself faster. I've used Faithbound Judge because I had a Spirit deck at one point and I had a Soldier deck at one point. And it is kind of a meme to kill somebody with the flip side of the card. But again, I'm not using it necessarily for the curse effect. I mean, I do think they're nice situational cards. Like, copying Curse of Opulence is neat because you might be able to get a bunch of ramp out of the deck. Like
Maybe.
It's in the precon, and I was able to copy it like by playtesting it because it's the second spell you cast. You could copy it, which is pretty cool. But that's only because it's a cheap non-creature spell, so they put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. These are so situational that you kind of have to like pick your battles. Like, I don't know, if you're playing against a particular player that gets punished by this, you're just kind of lucky that this applies in the game. It's like too situational. There's just too many variables and factors regarding when. Although Curse of Death's Hold is pretty cool. I have a friend who plays this deck where it's all 1 toughness creatures, and he's basically playing aristocrats in mono black where they die immediately. And he's trying to kill his own stuff, so that's pretty cool. Using that curse on yourself is cool. I think, honestly, cursing yourself is more fun if you're able to like abuse it for some reason.
Maybe. I mean, I know they try to, and like that cycle that came from the Commander products, like Curse of Opulence, Curse of Bounty, where they try and play into the multiplayer format of it, should be better because really their curses are built to be played 1v1 in either a limited or a constructed environment. And when you put they don't translate well to multiplayer, and so they struggle. Except those ones were designed for Commander. There's been a whole suite of them that have been designed for Commander, and they're still not particularly good. And they are ways to circumvent the stipulations to minimize the impact. Like, it just leaves me always saying, I wish I could have played almost anything else here instead of this card, because I didn't get a lot of effect. It didn't make the game extra fun. It just made everybody annoyed. And so I am really off them. Every time I see them, I am like, nope, that's never going in a deck.
The only card that I could see it being used with well, is Fractured Identity. If there were more effects like Fractured Identity, then I would be happy.
Yeah.
But that's one card, and it's in blue and white. So really, there's not much out there, I think, that can take advantage of these cards in a consistent way. I mean, Ardenn actually is pretty cool, because Ardenn can move the curses to each player, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But other than that, those are the only 2 cards I can think of that actually do some sort of synergistic thing. But again, is it really worth doing? I don't know.
No, that's not.
Same with my last card for the night.
All right, what did you find here? Let's have a look.
I hate this card so much. Okay, it's Chandra Spark Hunter. It's 3 colorless and a red. At the beginning of combat in your turn, choose up to 1 target vehicle you control. Until end of turn, it becomes an artifact creature and gains haste. +2, you may sack an artifact or discard a card. If you do, draw a card. 0, create a 3/2 colorless vehicle artifact token with crew 1. And -7, you get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control enters. This emblem deals 3 damage to any target.
This should be good, right? Like there's like it should be good because you have the 0 makes something that you can use. It makes some sort of, even if it's like, even if you're not using to attack it, making free stuff is good. What if that said make a food token, make a blood token, make a you can't put treasure because treasure's too good. Make some other trinket. Like that usually is a pretty good ability. And yet I look at this and I go, create a 3/2 colors vehicle artifact token with crew 1. I'm like, I would rather have a food token in every other instance. Like quite legitimate.
Blood token would be much better.
Yeah. And then the +2, again, sacrifice an artifact. So sack the trinket I made last turn to draw a card. That should be something I want to do. And at a +2, that's, you know, you haven't cost yourself any loyalty by the play pattern of zeroing it on turn 1 and then plussing it on turn 2, and you should have been up a trinket and then up a card. And yet at 4 mana, I don't want to do this. And then since we always know that like the ultimate is almost unattainable in Commander because of the fact it is if anyone gets even a sniff of that, they go, nope. But you get an emblem whenever an artifact you control enters. This emblem deals 3 damage to any target. Even that feels lackadaisical because how many artifacts are you probably going to dump into play to make this really good?
I just don't see, even with like Chandra's regulator, where you're able to do it twice in a turn, or stuff like that, like the chain veil. I don't see the upside.
There isn't one.
I'm not trying to be cynical with it. It's just, it's a standard card. It's meant to be played in standard. It's meant to be potentially sideboarded or played in modern or whatever other 60 card format that's out there that might be able to use the vehicle trope. I just don't see it.
I'm looking at like comparing to like Daretti. So like Daretti Scrap Savant
so much better.
Is again same mana value, 4 mana, 3 loyalty, +2, discard up to 2 cards and draw that many cards. So you know, it's similar in the sense that you get to draw
artifacts and it does something else.
And then the -2 sacrifice an artifact. Well, Chandra has a 0, so you should be able to use that to like make a trinket, and then the -10, like you never ultimate Daretti. No one ever lets you. So like, but you're right. Daretti's inevitably a better card than this Chandra, even though Chandra looks similar in lots of respects. And then also like Koth, the new Koth from it's still in standard, is again something that's ultimately better than this Chandra again at the same mana value. So like even amongst his peers, planeswalkers that are at 4 mana in red, this Chandra is kind of stinky PU. And I agree with you. I think this card is like, it seems like it should be flashy and exciting, and all I want to do with it is not play it.
It doesn't even work like as a Chandra card. Like Chandra cares about
damage,
instants and sorceries, and damage, direct damage to face. Maybe they learn their lesson and they Chandra's Beacon of Hope, the 6 mana one that copies things, is very, very good.
Yeah.
But like even then, I mean, this just doesn't seem like it fits as a card thematically. It doesn't seem like it fits as a card for what Chandra does throughout the history of this game. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. We lost the plot.
You are not wrong. I think this card has lost the plot, and I do not care for it either. It's why it's not something on any of my lists to go and pick up. I don't want to play it. I've tried it on Arena and have found it just doesn't do enough, and it dies. So, I guess it takes damage instead of me for a turn. So I guess that's a win. But
we can't even recycle these cards because they're just trash.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I think they're just going straight. They're going straight in the incinerator. So they'll keep my house warm next winter, my friend. That's where they're headed.
Alrighty. Yeah. So I guess
that's it.
That's it for this week, and we'll be back next week. We're gonna be we're really excited about Tarkir Dragonstorm, so we're gonna be chopping those cards up with some scissors. We're gonna be
running with scissors.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, okay.
But we might be cutting cardboard in half. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Later.